All right, here we go. Onto the dash. And I started getting ahead of myself and doing things without thinking about it. So here's what we got. This is the back side of the dash. All right. That is the Speedway headlight switch. I'll talk more about that when I flip this thing over. I had to open up the hole just a tiny bit and it fit through the dash perfect, whatever. This is the starter button, which I'm using. Obviously the gauge, all these gauges are NOS. I'm going to try and make the amp gauge work. We'll see if it does. The wire was coming from the power going through that way before. So that was positive ground going that way. Negative ground goes this way. So the wire has to come from the source and go straight through that way of the loops. Here are the lights. These are all these. The original pigtail I'm using. They're kind of choppy. I'm going to try and patch them because I guess I could run new wires to them, but I don't have a solder iron or anything. So I'm going to cut most of the bad wire out and patch it with good wire. What else? Here's the ignition switch. This is ignition accessory when you turn the key on. This is the power that comes from the battery, or the fuse box, I guess it's going to be. I'm sorry. No, this is what fires the coil. And this is what turns everything on, all the gauges, the radio, everything. Clock. Don't know if it works or not. Cigarette lighter that I'll only be using for phone chargers and stuff like that. Glove box is in fantastic condition. Underside's pretty good. I thought about buying the speaker and sticking it up there. The amp, when I bought it in the Chevy, it was like $130. Now it's like $280. So I'm holding off on that, and I'll probably do the speaker at the same time. These right here are the turn signal lights I bought that work with the cluster. There's the part number for those from Napa. There was 2 of these. This is the original wire harness clip. It was just there. I just took it off, and that's when I realized I was supposed to be filming. So I got this voltage reducer for the gauges. Where's the number? See right there. So it reduces all the gauges down to, or the power going in 12 volt, power going out 6 volt. So it's going to hook to one of these terminals. I guess it's this terminal right here. I'm probably going to rotate everything because I believe there's the mounting bracket right there. It has to be grounded. I think it has to be grounded. So I think I'm going to mount it right there on that mount hole, on that bolt hole. Just like that. That's my plan right now. Got all the light bulbs switched out. All these are 12 volt lights. Whatever the numbers are here. The numbers right here. Cluster gauge, the cluster, ignition switch, glove box switch I don't have, radio I already did, clock I did. Those are that number right there. 53N is for the high beam indicator. Turn signals, which I don't need to worry about. That's for the factory one, I guess. Heater, which I don't have, and the lighter, which I don't have a light for. So I bought a crap load of bulbs, just in case, because I didn't know. I bought all those bulbs before I brought the car home. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and attach that to that. I'm waiting to hear back to see if the clock can be run off the same reducer. I don't know if the clock works or not, but we're going to find out. And then we'll be back. All right, first order of business. Replacing this so I keep all my wires color-coded towards the diagram. The power feed for the gauges is pink. So I use pink wire to make this. Mine looks a little bit different than this. Not exactly sure how they got it to fit this way, but so theirs goes inside like that, like this one, and then it goes to this one, and that's where I'm lost. So mine goes around, obviously, but whatever, it works. The gauge sender is going to come under here and go there, and then the rest is fine. The light still fits just like that. Let me see. There's a light. Bulb still fits in there just fine. Everything works perfect. Still waiting to see if this clock can be attached to there. I'm hoping it can, because that would be perfect. Just have it like that, and it'd be powered, and it'd be good to go. Don't know if that's going to work. And as a matter of fact, I just realized this reaches right to where it needs to go. So I'm just waiting to find that out, and then we're golden, I think. This can be 12 volts. That wire looks brand new. I'm not messing with that. This wire looks good. I'm not messing with that. Well, maybe. I might make a new one. I got some pink wire left. Maybe I'll make a new power wire to there. That's it. Here's the turn signal wires. And the light wires, I don't know what I'm going to do with yet, because this is a freaking cluster. I don't know if I want to patch that. I kind of do. I kind of don't. I mean, the wire is frayed, the housing, but the wire itself still looks good. So I'm probably going to use it, honestly. I'm not going to try and make a new one. I mean, that'd be like that, except a million times worse. Whatever this looks like in here, I'm assuming it was stripped and wires were just wrapped around other wires and then sealed off, but I'm not going to try and do that. So I'm going to patch that up, reuse that. I'm going to make everything as clean as I can. It was a big jumbled mess from the factory, so I want to make it so it's extra clean, looking good. Hiding wire. All right, so that's where we're at for now. On to the next thing. All right, so what I did is I'm using the factory light harness. I just cut it down drastically. I'm going to take the harness tape and tape it all up and organize it all. But I cut off where all the shrink tubing is. I cut out bad spots in the wire, and I cut out a ton of it. That was all excess. That was like crazy long. Like this clock light wire right here came down and it wrapped all down here and went back up. So I cut all that out, and this wire came down and went up, and it was just real crazy. So I'm going to tape that up, and then yeah, that's that. I'm going to, at this connection right here, I'm going to have this light go in and meet that there. So I'm going to trim that up to where that needs to be. I'm also going to have this radio. There's two bulbs in the radio, if you've never been inside of one. And I tied them together. And I have this wire right here coming out. And this is actually off the harness for the lights. So, but I'm going to tap that into this as well. So everything's going to be lit up off that. And there we are. Let's get down to business. All right, it's all done. All taped up. All good to go. Doesn't look much different than it did, but it's done nonetheless. This wire comes in, ties in with this wire right there, comes up, boom, sits there. Now this is, I'm going to shrink tube around here, but it's a quick disconnect. So when I pull the dash for paint or whatever, I don't have to worry about pulling out all the light bulbs and all that. I just pop that off. So quick disconnect. If you've never seen how the starter button works, it's this lever comes down and that bullet just pops right out of there. Quick disconnect, obviously. Quick disconnect. Quick disconnect. So I'm going to have 3 wires. I'm going to have the clock power. And that's it. Done. Oh, and the senders. Sorry. 1, 2, 3. So 7 nuts under there I'm going to have to undo. And the whole thing will pop right out. So there we go. Dash, done. I'm going to do this inside rewire, interior rewire, and different steps so the video is not crazy long. But there we are. On to the turn signals. Almost forgot to show these gauges. Tach, mechanical water temp, voltmeter. So, let me swing around this way. Got common grounds to all of them right there. And that's one of the mounting bolts for the 3-gauge panel. They only had 3 bolts at Ace, so I picked up 3. And that should be fine. So common ground. So that is the ground for the tach and the light. Both go to there. This ground for the light and the gauge itself, the voltmeter, go to there. And this gauge didn't have a ground wire on it, but I made one to the housing right there. Don't know if it's necessary or not, but it's not going to hurt anything either way. Then I'm going to cut this off and redo this, I believe. This right here. Here's the lights. This is the wire for the lights. Meets up with this. I have these plugs on there so that I can unplug them if I need to remove a gauge or something like that. And I just pigtailed them, whatever it's called. This is for the radio. And I'm going to tie it into this plug right here. Somehow. Haven't figured that out yet. I might put it on another one of these and see if I can't wedge it up in here, open that up a little bit, and do them back to back or something like that. I don't know. I'll figure that out when the time comes. This is the power to the voltmeter coming off the ignition switch. This is the accessory terminal off the factory ignition switch. That's the wire that hooks to it from the column or from the harness. This is the main power wire, and this is the ignition wire. Goes to the coil. What else? I guess that's it. Oh, here's the tach power wire as well. This goes to the tach lead off the harness. And that's about it. I can't really flip this up. I have to hold it, so I can't really do it right now, one-handed. But it'll be in the car, hopefully tomorrow, so I can finish wiring up all the gauges and all that. And then I will show you how it looks. It looks fantastic. A million times better than the other one. Nice and chrome, nice and shiny. Those two are auto meters. That is a Stewart Warner Wings. Those are old time black. They look almost identical. Like, unless you're staring at them, you'll never know the difference. But I'm cool with that. I don't care even if they are different. It doesn't matter. It's whatever. So I'll have to hook this up, wrap it up, do whatever I got to do with it. This is the choke cable, of course. And now the dash is officially done. I'm going to use the CB wire from the harness to here, to the lighter, because that's battery or key on. I don't need this working with key off. I mean, I could make it, I could wire it straight to here, but I'm not going to. I don't think. Maybe I will. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But yeah, so there we go. That is the dash actually complete. Now to get it in the car.